All right, good evening, everybody. I'm not going to talk too much in this video because this is supposed to be a relaxing video, and I'm going to be walking uphill, and it's going to be hard to talk while walking. I will say this: we're here on Montreal, Monday, May 29th, 2023 at 7:49 p.m. Eastern. And of course, Montreal is in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And this is a natural mountain, a natural hill. But the paths are made by people. But the actual mountain hill itself is, of course, natural. And like I said, very beautiful evening tonight. And this was a spur of the moment thing I decided to do. I wanted to get away from everything and just relax with nature. And this is a place that I haven't been in quite a while, so we're going to do a walk for about an hour. I have activated my free hour of data, one of 5 that I have each month. So won't be too long of a stream, but enough to give you an idea of what Mount Royal is like if you haven't been here. And occasionally I'll check the chat board. I'm not going to go on the trail that's too steep and challenging. Try to stay on the flat trail. And again, this is hopefully supposed to be a relaxing walk for me. And, might as well bring any viewers that want to come along for the walk with me. And of course, because I'm on Mount Royal, even though we're in the middle of Montreal, reception, cellular data may be spotty at times. So I apologize in advance. Hopefully, we'll even get to see some of the sunset. I tried to time it for that. Keep in mind, we also had an ice storm a month or 2 ago. And there's still branches that haven't been picked up and trees that have fallen. So something to keep in mind. And I'll check the chat board in a minute or two. So this path, by the way, is one of the more natural ones. The one we're going to spend some time on. It's a little bit more, I guess you could say, man-made. There's cyclists, joggers, and whatnot, but we'll alternate between different paths and figure out what way we're going to walk once we get up here. I'll probably be turning left, heading towards Beaver Lake. And I'll see who's here in a moment. See, I want to try to avoid this stuff tonight. It's a little too steep. But here we are. This is the path that we'll stay on for a bit. But we still get some nature, so catch my breath here. And I'll check in the live chat in a moment here. There's a storm drain, storm gutter, and there's the spring thaw. It's quite cool to see because when the snow's melting in spring, it's all coming down here. That's like a nice little stream. All right, guys, so yeah, here we are, like I said, Mount Royal. And I'll check the chat board, see who's here. Start from the beginning. Hey, we got Luca here. Infinite Flight Guy. How was your thing, Luca? Like I said, I'm not going to talk too much, but I'll still, out of respect, interact with you guys. Hopefully you had a good thing at the, what was it, the Scouts or something? Cadet Scouts on Sunday. We got Quebec Buffet. Mirage, how you doing, buddy? Hopefully, I still have to watch your response video from 6-6, Station 66 in Verdun. Hey, we got Felix here. Good evening, Felix. A member of my channel. Brandon, Caliber Kitty. I still have to do that EXO train ride with you to St. Anne de Bellevue. We got George here. George in Edmonton, Alberta. How's the wildfire situation there, George? I don't know if you've heard, but now it's Nova Scotia that's having wildfires out in the East Coast. And it's sort of uncommon for them. Not rare, but it's uncommon for them to get wildfires. I know there's one near Halifax, just west of Halifax. Hey, Brandon, good evening. Yeah, so for the mod role, I'm just circulating between people, rotating. And the reason for that is because I've heard that YouTube, if you have too many people that are mods in your live stream or whatever, it could affect the integrity of the channel. That's a YouTube rule, not me. So to make it fair, I'm gonna rotate the mods. But the thing is, I don't have any issues on my channel with people really trolling me or anything. So far, it's very rare. And all you guys that usually visit my stream, I don't really need mods, to be honest, but it's cool to have that color on your name, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna rotate the mods, guys. So don't worry about that. Hey, we got Chow here. Hey, Chow, good evening. Yeah, so some of you's watching now maybe live in Montreal or live near Montreal. Maybe some of you's don't live in Montreal, but you've been to Mount Royal before. Maybe a while ago, maybe not so long ago. So for those of yous that haven't seen the mountain in a while, well, we'll check it out. I'm going to show you guys Beaver Lake. Might as well go here. So Beaver Lake is a man-made lake. And they did a lot of renovation work over the last decade or so here. They redid the whole, I think they redid the whole lake inside. Did the edges around the lake, the walking path. So we'll check Beaver Lake out. Yeah, we get a little bit of a sunset here. So we'll take it easy. You can see a lot of people out enjoying the sun, enjoying beautiful weather. We are going to be getting a heat wave later this week. Temperature is about 36 degrees Celsius with the humidity. That's on Wednesday. And in Quebec, I was talking about wildfires before. Well, there's a ban right now on campfires and stuff, and I think fireworks, because we're in for some dry, hot weather. So yeah, here it is, guys, Beaver Lake. So if you haven't been here in a while, it may look different. If you have been here recently, well, here it is again. We'll go to the chalet. So yeah, we'll go to the chalet, we'll make our way around, and then possibly up there, and we'll go to the more forested, quiet area. But we'll go this way around. So in the winter time, They used to make this into an ice rink, but because of global warming and the climate and all that, they can't maintain the ice rink anymore. They still have a refrigerated one down there. It's like a mini ice rink. But for many years, as far as probably since Mount Royal opened to people to walk on, they used to make a nice skating rink here in Mount Royal. And because it was so cold, it was natural ice. And because it's so warm in winter now, they can't even keep it. So they don't make the ice rink here anymore. The natural one, there's no point in doing it. I guess if you put the ice machines, they could go through the ice. Even people could go through the ice. So they still have an ice rink down there. You'll see in a minute this place that's circular and they're surrounded by benches. They still do that one, but the natural one isn't here anymore. But anyways, another cool feature of this lake here, we got some fish, guys. Some nice fish. Don't know what kind of fish those are, but they probably get fed by people. That's why they're following the perimeter. Quite a bit of them, actually. I don't know if you guys can see. Small fish, not big ones, but they are swimming around. And down this way here, in the winter, they have a sledding area for tobogganing and whatnot. And George, Mount Royal Cemetery is just over there, as you know. We still have to go and check that out. I know you wanted me to check out some grave sites there. Oh, look at this, guys. We got some fish here, bigger ones. Is that a goldfish? I don't know, because people might put fish here, they're goldfish. I don't know if that's a goldfish, but anyways, different kinds, really cool. So check the chat board here. Yeah, Felix, the ice storm did take a toll on the mountain. Not as bad as the 1998 ice storm, of course. There's the moon, by the way. But may have mentioned something, for ice storms and wind storms, as at least the natural ones, it's good to have them happen sometimes, because kind of gets rid of the the old branches, the weak branches, and makes way for new branches and new trees and new wildlife or new vegetation. But the problem is, of course, with the climate situation, it happens too often. So and the severity is becoming more severe and more intense. So Brandon was here last summer. Yeah, last summer this lake was still the way it is. The renovations happened before, I think like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So yeah, George, Edmonton, still some smoke all over the province. It's cleared up though a bit around Edmonton. That's good. I'm sure the sunsets were nice, or are nice. Hey Chal, no headache tonight. I'm enjoying a nice nature walk here, so that helps with the mental and physical health. Wow, so George, last time George was here was 1976. He was here in 1976. That's quite a while ago. So George, definitely, here it is. Definitely it's changed since you were here. That was 10 years before I was born. I was born in 1986. George was here in 1976. That's incredible. Yeah, you're talking about model ships. Yeah, people sail them here sometimes too. There's a duck. Yeah, this is Beaver Lake. That's right. So Beaver Lake is, like I said, a man-made lake. There's an urban myth that Mount Royal was a volcano, and this was the middle of the volcano, the crater. But it wasn't the case. Mount Royal is basically, from what I've read in geology books, Mount Royal is basically a mountain that formed. It's actually, I don't know if you can call it a mountain, it's more of a large hill. Basically formed when the magma pushed the land up and created a bump in the land. It didn't erupt, it didn't overflow like a volcano. And this is definitely not where the whole of the volcano was. This is just a man-made lake. But also same with other mountains around here, like Mount St. Hilaire, Mount St. Bruno. And this is one of the smaller ones. I mean, Mount St. Hilaire is much larger. Mount St. Bruno's maybe a little bit smaller. So around this area, there's not many mountains. There's a few that poke out. There's also Mount St. Gregory. Then when you go north of Montreal, that's where you get the Laurentians. That's where you have Mount Tremblant, and it's much more mountainous there. But if you look at a map, topography map of Montreal and south of Montreal, you'll notice that it's not really mountainous, but there are a few that poke up, and that's because the magma and molten lava never actually penetrated through the crust of the earth. Just basically made like a bulge. That's from what I've read. I don't know the details, but yeah, I guess it could have turned into a volcano, but never did. There's a waterfall, I think, on the other side there. Numu, good evening to you, Numu. I think on the other side of that area we were, there's a waterfall. Oh yeah, I'll show you something here, guys. Here's the chalet that recently got renovated as well. And over there is the skating rink, the natural skating rink. Oh, sorry, the man-made skating rink, where those benches are. And over here, this is the chalet. It's in the winter, there's cross-country skiing, which is really fun. I tried it a few times. It's not downhill skiing. Never tried that yet. I want to one day. But for cross-country skiing, it's really fun. You come here, and basically there's cross-country ski trails, and there's little hills that you can go down. And it's not like downhill skiing, but it's fun. That's a good workout. And there used to be paddle boats here. Oh, there still is. Paddle boats, canoes. Yeah, Brandon's mentioning as well for the Rideau Canal in Ottawa. Same thing happened with the Rideau Canal. Rideau Canal in Ottawa used to have a skating rink on it. Still does technically, but they're talking about closing the Rideau Canal as well because they can't keep the ice cold enough. Actually, Numa, you're asking about the waterfall. I don't know if I don't think actually that waterfall's there anymore. I think when they did the renovations, they may have removed it. Because usually you would hear the water. I could definitely maybe try to check back later. And I'll do more live streams from here. I mean, this is one of my favorite places in the city. Here's a sewer. Probably connected to the lake. I haven't personally been here in, well, spring or summer. It's been a year or two. Last time I was here was winter time, doing a walk near the cross of Mount Royal. There's a nice duck right now eating. A lot of ducks here, a lot of wildlife around here, so I'll try to get into the more natural area in a moment here because we're going to make our way up higher. And the moon is becoming more illuminated. There's an area for picnic, barbecues. And the buses that come here are the 11, and now there's another one called the 411, which I think runs between Laurier and Snowden. And the 11, I think, starts at Mont Royal Metro. Actually, a little bit east of Mont Royal Metro. And George was telling me, he even sent me pictures, that there used to be a streetcar that would go up Mont Royal. And that was numbered the 11 as well. And in fact, the street that the 11 takes, there used to be a tunnel there. And you can see where the rocks are. Maybe we'll see it soon. Depends on the time and stuff. Like I said, I have another probably 35 minutes of live streaming left in my hour of free data. Hopefully the quality is good, guys. Like I said, I'm using the native YouTube app. I'm still trying to figure out Streamlabs. George recommended another streaming app the other day called, I think, Prism. I downloaded it. I tried a trial of it, but they're asking for money and to pay for it. But I'll see if there's a free version available, because I want to compare streaming apps. This is interesting here. I guess this is where you rent the life jackets and equipment for the boats. These are new. You can tell they're modern. Yeah, Mount Royal is the best urban park in Montreal. This and Cap Saint Jacques are my two favorite places. There I am, yours truly. And another thing about Mount Royal that's interesting is this was designed, the actual path, the paths and the landscaping was designed by Olmsted. And that was the same person that designed Central Park in New York City. Same architect. So yeah, interesting bit of information to note. So we're gonna go a bit higher here and check out the street for a minute, where the 11 goes. Yeah, Brandon, the chalet got renovated about 5-10 years ago, so it was a very light renovation from what I remember. So if you were here last year, then it hasn't changed. But the main renovation was the actual lake. If you compare the lake now to, let's say, 15 years ago, you'll see it's newer now. The path, the perimeter. Yeah, there's the sun there, guys, peeking through the trees. So like I said, George, definitely we're going to get to that grave site that you asked me to check out. Because of the ice storm and the strike and all this and that, and the cemeteries, and the fact that they close earlier, made it a bit difficult, but I'm going to definitely go out there and check it out soon. As I said in an earlier stream, when I was doing a downtown walk, they actually used to let you bike through the cemetery on Mount Royal. And it used to be open 24 hours a day. And it was fun to go there at night if you wanted a little spooky walk, or just a nice place to go to get away from everything. Go there at midnight, 1 a.m. and walk through there. It was a cool experience. And you could hear the different wildlife and foxes and all kinds of critters. Yeah, so there you go, the number 11 streetcar line, built from the east side of Mount Royal to the summit, and it began in 1929. Yeah, so there you go. A lot of people were saying that the strike has caused delays in burials and that. So hopefully that gets resolved. From what I remember, they've always had some kind of labor issue over the years, on and off. Another reason they closed the cemetery on Mount Royal for overnight hours is because cyclists were speeding through the cemetery, and that was, I guess, causing problems. So in order to enforce the no cycling rule, they closed the gate completely overnight when nobody was there to watch. So it's unfortunate, because like I said, it's really nice to walk through at night. I'll have to do a live stream in the cemetery one day. Here's this big tower here, is the Mount Royal Broadcasting Tower. This is where, well, especially earlier on, a lot of TV stations and radio stations are broadcast from that tower, the signal. And technically that's the highest point in Montreal if you were to climb that. So CBC radio, CBC television. Of course, now you have satellite TV or fiber optic cables and all this fancy stuff. But it's still used, that tower. But there's also, I think, cellular communication equipment on there as well. Hey, we got Thomas. Good evening, Thomas. Yeah, so the strike is still on. So yeah, it is still on. I didn't know if they were winding down the strike but it's still on, I guess. CBC used it early on, yeah. And the other thing too about the Mount Royal Broadcasting Tower is about 10-15 years ago, they changed the lights on it, the navigation lights to alert aircraft. Oh, look at the sunset on the side here, pretty cool. So, a lot of vegetation, different varieties of bushes, trees. And in terms of wildlife, as I mentioned, there's quite a bit of wildlife here. There's foxes, of course, squirrels, raccoons, chipmunks. But there's also salamanders, I think, and snakes here. And another thing that's very cool to see on Mount Royal is there's hundreds of bird species that you could find here that use this as a place to come in, I guess, hang out with other bird species. So if you're into bird watching and all that, this is definitely a place to check out. Here's another path that's closed because of the danger of falling branches. There's a general map of the park. So I'll just show you guys quickly to give you an idea of where we are and whatnot. So basically we're around, I guess, this area right now. There's Beaver Lake, and all this here is Mount Royal. And right here is a cemetery. There's Mount Royal Cemetery and Notre Dame de Neige Cemetery. It's two different cemeteries, but it's all one big area of cemetery land. And of course, the Mount Royal Tunnel cuts under here, and then right downtown around here. So that's pretty much a general map of the area. Here's another old building. Try to pick up the pace a bit because I do want to check out maybe the Mount Royal lookout, the Adirondack lookout. I'll at least get a view of the city. Let's see if we can make it, guys. 1 million people buried at Mount Royal. That's incredible. I don't know if it was you, George, telling me, because if you think about it, the Mount Royal Tunnel where the Deux Montagnes line is, the old Deux Montagnes line for the AMTXO trains, now being converted to the RAM light metro train system. That's technically underneath Mount Royal Cemetery, so technically there's bodies above you. I think it was you, George, that mentioned, you know, if you go through Mount Royal Tunnel and there's a smell, it could be the decomposing bodies, but you also mentioned that's probably was your imagination when you were younger. It's probably just the smell of the tunnel, but it is interesting to know that you're right underneath the cemetery. There's what the lights look like on Mount Royal. They haven't really switched to LED lights yet. Check the chat board. Hey, ACD Red Devil, welcome. Yeah, the Mount Royal Winter Walk. That's the last time I was here. Thomas, no, the actual tower is not accessible, but you can go right underneath it. And it's usually a vehicle or two parked there, and there's a structure underneath that's manned, I guess. I don't know if it's security or engineers or something. Yeah, this is where I last time I was here was in winter, where I fell down the stairs a few steps. No injuries, just it was icy and I slid down a few steps. It's actually near where we're going now. So we're gonna probably make it to the Mount Royal lookout, get a nice view of the city. We should have time, so it should be a good way to end the stream. So we got it to see a bit of nature and natural path, natural trees and whatnot. We saw some man-made paths here, and now we're going to see the lookout. So a little bit of everything, and a beautiful moon tonight. So this is the Olmsted Road. This is the Olmsted Road right here, this one. Oh, we got a dog. Probably wants some water. Awesome. Well, we'll take this way because it's kind of quieter than the main path. But it still leads to the lookout. And they occasionally put these things here as well to protect the vegetation from people. Yeah, Dominion Square, that's right, until 1855, because they were running out of room, so they moved it to Mount Royal. Yeah, Thomas, it's interesting to realize, yeah, that you're directly below a cemetery. And like I said, I do have some walking videos on the cemetery, by the way. If you check my channel, look up, put cemetery into the search box for my channel. You'll see some, but I'm gonna do some live streams there someday eventually, probably in the next month or two. If I forget, guys, remind me, because sometimes I get caught up in things and lose track. Yeah, maybe. Hey, we'll maybe head down the stairs peacefully after we check out the skyline. The quality's bad, Thomas. I apologize. That's unfortunate because, like I said, we're on Mount Royal, so the data may be a bit patchy. It's kind of ironic because we have a big broadcasting tower beside us, and you'd think, you know, that would be a super high quality HD signal. Also, because it's getting darker out, probably the light quality of the videos, the stream is going down as well, because the sun is going down. Another idea I had was to do a sunrise walk on Mount Royal when it's even quieter. I hear a bird. Sounds like it. I even heard an owl once here. I could tell it was an owl. It's on my channel. Just put owl in the search box. Wonder what kind of bird that is. Maybe somebody knows. And there's also foxes here. Red foxes. I don't think there's any coyotes or anything. All right, guys, we're almost there. Yeah, it is. It does get busier here, for sure, George. And well, where we're going now, it's usually a bit busier. There's another path down there. So yeah, we're slowly making our way to the lookout, famous Mount Royal lookout. See what we could see. And we can see the REM construction from here. Haven't been here in a while, especially in daylight hours, summer, spring hours. Beautiful blue sky before the heat wave. Probably get humid and smoggy. Yep. Oh, look at this. They cut a whole bunch of trees down here. Wow. So this definitely was not like this last time I was here. Yeah, see, there are trees that got cut down. Wow. So they're probably going to replant all those. Oh, actually, this is because of parasites. The emerald ash beetle. The emerald ash bear beetle. So this is a beetle that eats the trees, basically. So that's what happened there. So what they'll probably do is replant the trees, and slowly but surely they will regrow again. Alright guys, there's a famous chalet on the top of Mount Royal. So it's good timing. Here's this is interesting. To commemorate the welcome of the citizens of Montreal, His Majesty King George VI, monarch of the country, Majesty Elizabeth, May 16th, 1939, during the first visit to Canada of the sovereign. Interesting, 1939. We are coming up now to a beautiful view of the downtown core. And this, so you know, is facing generally south. So enjoy the view coming up here. This is a path that's closed. This I think they're doing renovations on. A couple of times they came here during snowstorms, windstorms. I was the only one here. It's quite spectacular. We got some tulips here as well. Of course, if you're familiar with the Tulip Festival in Ottawa that's going on right now. But we have tulips here as well. So we should get a nice view here looking over the city momentarily. And you'll see the other mountains in the distance that I was mentioning, Mount St. Hilaire, Mount St. Bruno. Then you're going to put some trees here. Hey, we got Fred here. Welcome, Fred. All right, here we are, guys. Nice view of the city. Yeah, a lot of construction going on, as you guys can see. You can see the REM tracks. There's a nice view of Leonard Cohen, a mural of Leonard Cohen down there on Crescent. And yeah, pretty much that's it. Nice sunset. There's the Owen, Illinois glass plant down there. You can see the glass factory, Owen, Illinois. They're actually on strike right now. I don't know if I told you, George, but they're on strike right now. Owen, Illinois glass plant. We'll get another view over here. Facing towards the better view of the downtown core for. And there's the campus down there as well. So like I said, when I come here in winter, it's much quieter, and come here during a windstorm, I'm usually the only one here. And there down there's the Jacques Cartier Bridge facing towards the southeast, more or less. There's the skyline. And I think there's I don't know if it's an official rule or an unwritten rule that you can't build a skyscraper in Montreal higher than Mount Royal. So I don't know if that's still valid or not. Oh yeah, there it is. And there's the St. Lawrence River as well. And those flashing lights you see are hydroelectric pylons going, part of the Hydro-Quebec network over the St. Lawrence River. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So me personally, I have to go to the washroom, so I'm gonna probably cut the stream here in a minute, but we'll actually go inside the chalet. The stairs that I fell down in winter without injury are down here somewhere. Yeah, they're down there somewhere. We'll do that another day, guys, but don't worry about that. But yeah, there it is, Mount Royal. And there's Mount St. Bruno down there, by the way. You can kind of make it out. All right, so I'll bring you guys into the chalet with me, and then I'll cut the stream, because there's some cool artwork in there as well. Some nice architecture. I'll check the chat board. Hey, we got MTL Rail fan here. Good evening to you. Well, 1947, that would be cool to see. Hopefully this is open. If not, we'll at least look inside through the back. Yeah, there's inside. And there's some cool pictures on the wall and stuff. All right, guys, so I'm going to wrap her up here. As always, thanks for watching, and more videos to come. And good night to everybody. Have a safe evening, safe morning. See y'all soon.